Et notre prochaine équipe, c'est l'équipe de Flacq avec le projet Banderole. Alors, c'est pareil, 15 minutes pour la présentation et 5 minutes pour question and answers.
Thank you. By a raise of hand, how many of you remember playing snake and ladders, tic-tac-toe, or hopscotch as a child? Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. My team and myself are excited to present our project, Banderole. We've come with the idea of bringing back the joy of traditional play for children. Think about those games you played growing up. Now imagine if our children had the same opportunity. These games were more than just fun. They help us develop crucial skills like strategic thinking, coordination. However, today children are increasingly glued to their digital devices, spending less time on traditional play. The shift has led to a decline in activities that foster social interaction, cognitive development, and cultural learning. We wanted to reintroduce these games for children, and this is how we came up with the idea of Banderole. Now that we knew we wanted to make life-size board games, we started researching on material that we can use. We wanted something sustainable, durable. This is how we decided to upscale banners. The use of banners for advertising continues to rise, contributing to significant waste. These banners, made from durable but non-biodegradable materials, are often discarded after short-term use. Adding to environmental pollution. The durability of the banner makes it a perfect material for our games. Our project aims to address these two issues by repurposing used banners into games, helping reduce waste and reintroduce the joy and benefit of traditional play. To understand the scope of these problems, we conducted a survey and gathered some insightful data. Let's do a quick audience poll. How many of you think that children spend more than 2 hours a day on their phone or tablets? Our survey revealed that 9 out of 20 children rarely participate in outdoor activities. Meanwhile, 11 out of 20 spend more than 5 to 6 hours daily on their phones. Interestingly, 80% of parents in our survey expressed a preference for their child to engage in traditional games over digital ones. Now that we have, now think about the environmental impact. How many of you have seen events banners tossed aside after just one use? These materials can be repurposed instead of ending up in landfills. Our research showed a significant opportunity to reduce waste by turning these banners into educational games. Together, the data points a clear picture: the pressing need to address both the environmental and social challenges at hand, and our project offers a unique solution. Now I leave the floor to Hannah to speak on the scope of our project.
Good morning, everyone. So my part is project scope. Moving to the SWOT analysis, we have done a SWOT analysis to know the strength, weakness, opportunities, and threats of the project. So the strength is that it reduces screen time. Also, the banners are easily available. Weakness is that we had a lack of expertise in drawing, so we had to do it by ourselves. And also, printing on the back of the banners was quite difficult. And also, we had the opportunities that it was easily delivered to the schools, we had the opportunity to engage local artisans and also to educate people on the protection of the environment. And threats is that we had a tough competition with online games, but the children were willing to switch, changing the mindset of the youth. And moving, how the project was started is, we started by collecting the banner, then design of the games, engage local artisans and communities, volunteers. We freely distributed the games at school and educated and sensitized people as well. And how it was planned, a small scale study was done. Then the game was designed. Again, a pilot test was done at school, how many children were willing to play. And also we plan to roll out the project at other schools as well, freely. And the innovative idea is that upcycling of banners to create games is novel and unique. The concept has not yet been introduced in Mauritius. And we are tackling two problems as well. First is protecting the environment. Second is promoting longless game, encouraging play-based learning, and also we have help the children to develop their social and cognitive skills and strengthen the bonds between children, parents, and their peers at school. As you can see, we have worked on our log frame. We have set the indicators, means of verification, risk and assumptions, and also we have also done a task allocation tracker to ensure that we are on the time frame and completing all the activities in a given time. Furthermore, we have worked on our problem tree analysis and objective tree analysis, and that's all for today. And I leave the floor to my friend Nina. She will tell us more on our project. Thank you.
Greetings, everyone. By now, you already have an idea about what the Bondhole project is about. And I'm going to give you a sneak peek of the Bondhole project's journey with our stakeholders interspersed with the challenges that we came across. So we first started with procurement of banners. For that, we approached printing companies. The printing companies, we approached them for them to give us banners. However, they were reluctant to give us the banners due to their clients' privacy, leaving us with a challenge right at the start of our project. So now we had to find an alternative source for banners. For that, we approached supermarkets and shopping malls of the region. And with them, the negotiation was much more smooth because when we discussed with them about our project proposal, they were very glad to form part of our project and even told us that they could host us for an activity day with our finished projects. And next, so now we had our banners in hand. Our next step was the upcycling part. So for the upcycling part, we had to engage a local artist and an upholsterer to assemble the banners. So initially, our plan was to print games on the verso side of the banner, but when we approached printing presses, they told us that the verso side of banners cannot be printed upon. So that's why we had to resort to painting and upholstering. So this is our upholstered banner. Actually, we had to plan this for a snake and ladder game, but as you can see, the upholsterer had messed up the banner. He didn't follow a regular pattern. Now, when we had ended up with this banner, we had realized that now we will have to paint our snake and ladders pattern. For that, we contacted various painting companies. And among them, Flacq gave us a positive response. They found our project in line with their sustainability objectives, which is preserving the colors of our planet, and they gladly sponsored us with paint for our project. Now, if you still remember, we had a ruined banner, but still we did not let it go to waste. We innovated with it and we came up with an activity game, as you can see. So whatever we learned from NPCC is that when we have a difficulty, the solution to that always leads to an innovation. I now leave the floor to Cyan to explain on our project implementation and marketing. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Lina. All right, so after the roller coaster journey that we've had with all ups and downs, we didn't give up, and we actually emerged as leaders. And from there, we started gathering all the materials that we'd be needing ourselves by our own. And after we have gathered all of the materials that are going to be needed for the banners, we started assembling the banners ourselves. So the largest banner that we had to make, we had actually drawn all the lines of all the small squares. And then after having drawn the lines, we started hand painting all the squares in white and black. After it was done, this was the final result. So after having painted the banners, we had to write the numbers from 1 till 100 to be able to make the banners for snake and ladders. The next banner that we had to make was the hopscotch, and for this one, we had the collaboration of a local artist who also happened to be a local art teacher who voluntarily agreed to help us in the project. He also helped us to draw the tic-tac-toe banner. It was made by the same artist, by the way. Now, alongside with the tic-tac-toe comes the materials. So all the materials were made by our team itself. And as you can see on the table for the jury members, the wooden structures have been made from ice cream sticks that have been recycled. And the circular structures that you can see are actually recycled DVDs, which have been printed on recycled papers. So as you can see, the image that we have printed, they have strong images and strong messages. So when kids are using those things to play on the tic-tac-toe banner, at the same time they are educating themselves about the protection of environment. Now, after all of the banners were ready, it was time for us to activate our campaign in school. The first school that we held our activity was the Garden Paradise, and as you can see on the screen, we rolled out all the games that we had made by our team. On the first pictures, we have the snake and ladders, the hopscotch, and we had the tic-tac-toe as well. Due to the recommendation of the juries on last Saturday, we had to, due to the limitations of the GDPR, we had to mask all the faces, as you would have seen the lovely smiles that we got to experience firsthand while we were covering the activities. Our team also seized the opportunity to actually engage with the students, spend some time with them, just to help them disconnect for a while with the online world and to connect actually with the offline world. And by the end, we also held a workshop with the staff working at the school to get their buy-in to embark on this new journey and also to encourage them to advocate about the protection of environment. Now, after having done all this, we also had to market our project, and to market our project, we actually created a Facebook page, and on the Facebook page, we displayed our mission and vision of the project, and as and when we had updates, so we always shared our updates on the progress on the banners and the activities on the school, and we were always sharing about tips and tricks, how to protect the environment, about educating the public at large. What we saw actually really got the attention of people because one of them contacted us and he was very curious about our banners. He contacted us to ask if we could help him actually in his event by bringing our banners so that he can engage the audience over there. Unfortunately, last week we didn't have the chance to meet our MLA, but during the week we tried to catch up and we met with Ms. Mokshada, who also helped us to understand more about how we could sustain the project and how we could develop the project further. Now, after having had a successful event at our first primary school, here's the timeline. The Garden Paradise Pre-Primary School has already been done. By mid-September and end September, we're planning to do the same activity at Duke's Bridge School and the Belmar Government School. And for the two others, unfortunately, are still to be confirmed. Just to share with you as well, the Flacq Retail Park invited us last weekend to hold an event, but unfortunately we had to ask to reschedule because we had the regional assessments. Just for you to have an idea of the activities, there's a small video. To summarize it all, children of today are adults of tomorrow. So let's together make them responsible adults. And always remember, quand on a un rôle, bon rôle. Thank you.
guys, thanks for your presentation. So I think you clearly you showed a lot of engagement in terms of developing prototypes, and you tested it. My question is around how do you scale that to have impact? So number one is, so far you've been lucky to have volunteers and you've got things for free from SOFAP, etc. As you imagine doing that at a higher scale, and you mentioned that you want to offer this for free to schools and children, how do you fund this? How will this be funded when you have to go at a higher scale?
All right, thank you for the question. Actually, we have already been in contact with a lot of supermarkets and the retail malls, so they have agreed. When they're launching promotional campaigns, all the promotional campaigns have a certain date printed on the banner. So once that is printed for one particular campaign, it will not be able to be used for other campaigns. So they have agreed to, let's say, periodically hand over to us all the banners that cannot be used. So that's how we're going to sustain the procurement of banners. As for the painting to be painted on them, in all the schools, so how we're going to develop the project actually, we're going to hold some workshops in primary schools, and alongside with the schools, we're going to have their help for the paintings. So while doing the workshop, we're going to engage the children themselves to draw on the banners, to make the snake and ladders, or the tic-tac-toe, or even the hopscotch. And then that's how, after the workshop, we're going to give them the whole finished product.
So you did point out a very relevant challenge in that changing the mindset of children from the screen, because even though with that bundle there are plenty of other alternatives, board games, books, but they don't engage with it. You identified correctly that was a challenge, that just the product itself is not enough to switch them to it. I haven't heard you elaborate a little bit more about how you are going to address that challenge. You mentioned sensitizing, but it'd be good to know whether you've trialed anything in that regard and whether you've seen an impact, and what are your learnings?
When we brought our banner to the pre-primary school, definitely we saw that the children engaged with our banner. And we had in the pipeline that the retail park and Fairville had invited us to host an activity day. So there will be both parents and their children, and they will engage better. And our snake and ladder banner is a life-size one, so the children themselves are going to move alongside, and they are going to learn about numbers, and they can play along with their parents also. This will promote their bonding and engagement also.
Thank you very much, team. Very nice presentation. Really appreciate the idea. My question, very similar to what my colleague asked. His first question, basically, how do you make this a business?
So, about the upscaling part, what we have in mind is that first, this is our beginning. We were targeting the kids. But now we want to upscale by targeting more age group. So we have two age group in mind. One is the teen adolescents, and another one is adult or / elderly population. And for them, we are planning to slightly change the banners, making them theme-based. So for concerning teenagers and adolescents, we are trying to make the snake and ladders. For example, I'll give you an example, like for where the snakes will be there, we will be putting les fléaux de la société, par exemple, like alcohol, drug, and where there will be the ladders, there will be like dedication, education. So this will give them an idea that such and such things will bring them down, and other things will bring them forward. And concerning the adult and elderly population, we are planning to make it health-based. For example, the snake spot will be like junk food, a sedentary lifestyle, and the ladder part will tackle a balanced diet, for example. And then we can involve a Ministry of Health also in our initiative.
Well, initially we did not plan to make it into a business. It was a voluntary activity for us more. But now that we are getting more ideas, maybe we can look for more sponsorship to fund this project.
Thank you. I think you responded partly to the question that I had for you in terms of health, aspects that we should take into consideration. Given that you started with kids, you said that you've been using, you've been doing a great job so far, so congratulations on that. But using the paint, the type of paint color that on plastic, and going to kindergarten and playing with kids. I'm not a mother, but for parents, I think that they would like to know whether this is not dangerous in some way or another for their children. This was my question. Thank you.
Thank you for the question. Actually, it's a very good question, which we faced while we were implementing the project. We actually took some time to be able to procure all the paints, because there was a long discussion alongside with the SOPA, who we would like to thank, by the way, because they took a lot of time and a lot of patience to explain to us. So it was a long process to choose the right paint, and with their advice, we managed to find the exact paint that can be used, which is not nocif pour la santé. Right? And it can be, actually stick on the back of the banners, because that was a challenge as well initially.
Thank you.
I think I have a last question for you. More of a remark come question than a truistic. First of all, congratulations. Very innovative idea to get this done. There is one fallback position that I'd like to hear from you. Everyone is on their devices right now. Not only the small children, not only the very young ones, but even the elderlies. And those marketing campaigns from supermarkets and everything, they will eventually go fully online. Everyone will have the PDF, the pamphlet, and everything will have it on the phone. So eventually supermarkets might not be producing the oil. So what would be your fallback position to that? Because it rejoins the question of here, who asked that, what is the cost aspect of the project? If you had, and my other colleague also said that, if you had to upscale it, if you had to get, I wouldn't say living, but just make it as a hobby and earn some money and turn that money into something else, what will be your fallback position if you're not getting banners?
Thank you very much for the question. That's a question that actually came across my mind while we were planning the project as well. For let's say for the next 6 months, we have enough banners to be able to roll out the project in all the other schools. And we have also, while we were brainstorming with the team, during election campaigns, there were a lot of banners which are used, and all of those banners, they go wasted. So we're going to try to get into contact with those concerned ministries, and I'm very much sure that we're going to get a very large quantity of banners by those campaigns, which will at least sustain enough quantity for the next years to come. Thank you.